You can see the Cairnfury Point Lighthouse from almost anywhere along the coast, if you know where to look. A thin white column tilting against the wind, its beam sweeping the mist like a hand searching for something it's lost. Most nights it keeps to its rhythm, steady as a heartbeat. But sometimes the pattern changes, and that's when people notice. I couldn't tell you how long I've been here. It's been a long while. I can feel my spirit is fading, but I've got time left. Even in this plane of existence, nothing lasts forever, and the lighthouse is unhappy about that. She's itching for new company. Sustainable. I've seen people come and go, and we all got along fine until the automation crept in. She didn't like that. You can think of me as her backup generator. As long as there was a fresh supply of people coming here, she was fine. People who left felt drained, but they were intact, safe, once they were back on the mainland. Engineers never seemed to manage more than a couple of shifts a year at the lighthouse, and it was rare to see someone 3 times. But then they started automating in the 1990s, and that's when things changed for me. The last keepers were gone, the logbook closed, and the new turbine left to drink the tides and power the lamp on its own. The idea was simple: no people, fewer problems. Except that, after a few years, she grew very restless. Her light behaved oddly, flashing when the sea was calm, but dimming when the fog rolled in thick. You would think she had a sense of humour if it weren't so dangerous. So the board, which monitors the lighthouse, sent some engineers to investigate the malfunctioning personality routines. I watched them as they moored the boat, the base of the lighthouse thick with green slime. 2 of them, a man and a woman. He looked older. He was grumpy, but she was eager, taking in the giant looming concrete mass, just as I once had. The sea had been calm for them, the oars gliding easily through the water. That won't last long, I thought. Half a mile out, a gull shrieked once and vanished into the mist. The sound hung there, swallowed slowly by the fog rolling in from the east. With the boat moored and secured, they came inside the lighthouse. The girl, Lorna, looked surprised. She could tell the air felt warmer than it should have been. It felt lived in. She touched the kettle and checked her notes. "But no one's even been out here in over 10 years, she whispered, confused. Below us, the turbine churned, slow, steady and patient. They checked the systems, all came back fine. Of course they were. There was nothing broken here. No broken relays, no corrosion. There was no earthly reason for the light to misbehave. And yet, each time one of them spoke, she made the bulbs in the overhead lights flicker. She was deciding, listening to their conversations. At dusk, her main light came on early and began flickering. Morse code to those who knew it. Lorna frowned at the window, looking at the light. "That pattern is strange. Do you think it's a code?" "Yes," I answered quietly, moving around them. The man, Simon, looked scornful and didn't reply. "It could be Morse code," Lorna mused. "I can make out an S, and I think that's a T." "Stay," I answered her. "She wants you to stay." The last entry in the logbook, written 10 years earlier in a neat hand, read, "Light steady, sea calm, miss the chatter." Lorna wrote a new entry. "No mechanical faults found. Recommend observation only," and added the day's date and time. She closed it gently. The wind whistled against the shutters, making them rattle. By now, Lorna was looking worried. I felt sad for them, knowing what was ahead. If I could warn them, but then no one had warned me. They packed up their gear, Lorna reluctantly, and headed to the boat. I saw them arguing, gesturing. Simon insisted on trying to leave, even though the fog was rolling in again, unexpectedly. Lorna remained steadfast. She refused and backed away, returning to the lighthouse. Simon continued in the boat, rowing away from us, into that fog. As Lorna came back in, she lit a fire for her, and the kettle was on. "Thank you," Lorna whispered softly. The fog obscured the windows, and Lorna could not see Simon or the boat anymore. By morning, the sea was as still as glass. Another boat tried to come out, but they couldn't get into the lighthouse. Lorna and Simon were reported missing, after the wreckage was found a mile out to sea. That night, from shore, the light changed its pattern again. Some long flashes, a few which were short. The harbour master said it looked like Morse code. A year later, the board decided to do another check on Cairnfury Point. The generator still ran, the radio still worked, the tower was empty. But in the logbook, beneath Lorna's last entry, someone had written in a neat, unfamiliar hand, "Light steady, sea calm, company retained." Now, when the fog drifts in from the channel, fishermen say they can see two shapes on the gallery deck, still as statues, facing the sea. I could have told them if they'd asked, and now so can Lorna. The Cairnfury light still works perfectly. It just doesn't like to be alone. It will always need company. Thank you for listening, and tune in next week for another story.